First of all, I guess, could you explain a bit why the press conference is at Old Trafford? It's quite unusual.
We had a meeting with all the staff, trying to connect everybody, the sports part with this facility. The people that are here are far from Carrington. We are trying to build a connection to be closer. Carrington and the stadium together, and that was the reason.
Within the Oss, there's been some positives and some growing pains as well, with some difficult decisions taken. How important is it that everyone is together and moving in the right direction? Because this club could be special when that is the case.
Yeah, that is something that you cannot buy. The pedigree and the size of the club. This is something that we have to use it. So it's a key point for us. Also improving the youth teams, creating a connection between everybody to put this club in the place that it needs to be.
In terms of Wednesday's game, are there any players that will be back or unavailable?
We have one more training session to see it. Maybe Lenny Yoro is going to be in the squad. I felt that is in the good moment now. His fitness is better, so I think he is going to be in the squad. The rest I have to see it, because some players who are tired, we have to assess tomorrow in training.
Ian. Hi Rúben. How excited are you to work with Lenny Yoro and see him in the first team for Manchester United now?
I think he's a special talent. We have to be careful in this first moment, because we didn't have too many trainings together. So he's training not alone, but with a small group of players. He's really fast. He's a modern defender, and that is good when you want to press high. And you leave a lot of strikers, especially in this league, 1-against-1. I think he can manage that. He's very good with the ball, so I'm really excited. I have to be careful. We have to manage the load and the minutes in the beginning, but I'm really excited to see Lenny Yoro play.
Is Arsenal, in your opinion, the biggest challenge you face yet coming to the Emirates?
Yeah, it's the best team. It's the best team that we faced by far, but the test is every game. If you see the last game yesterday, was really tough. It was a 4-0, but you see it, the game like I see it. So everything now is a test, without so much minutes to train, trying to manage the numbers of minutes for a lot of players. You cannot try to imagine one game. You have to know that some players have to be out of the pitch in 60 minutes, 70 minutes. So it's really hard in this moment. Everything is a test, but Arsenal is for me. I know that is hard to for Manchester United to say, but they are in the different point of their team. They are in the different moment.
Thank you. Rúben, you're obviously learning about your team with every game you play, testing yourself against a challenge like Arsenal, especially away. What would you want to see from your players this week?
It's important to be brave. When I say brave, it's not to pressing all the time in the Raya. It's not the same. We have to understand the game, the moments of the game, and we need to have the ball. That is a key point, because we want to have the ball. We want also to dominate some moments of the game, because we know that in these matches is hard to control all the game. And we have, if I have to say something, we have to be brave and to play the game.
Can I ask about Bruno Fernandes? He came off at the weekend and he was pictured with a bit of ice on his ankle. Was that precautionary? Do you expect him to travel to London?
No, he's fit to play. I see him already in this morning, and he's fit to play. He's a guy that don't need a lot of rest. You know him, so he's prepared to play.
Sure. You mentioned yesterday you're already starting to know the phrases of some of the songs here, and fans have already got a chant for yourself. How important is that connection between the fans and yourself going to be going forward?
I don't like my chant. You say chant. I don't like it. I feel a little bit not embarrassed, but because I'm the coach, they have to chant for the players and for the club. So it's not a good thing for me. I understand. I really appreciate the connection with the supporters, but I want them to support the team and the players because they are on the pitch. I'm outside the pitch. But I'm really honored about that, and I feel a connection with the supporters. But we know that we need results to maintain that.
And one player that's impressed since you've been here under Ruud is, I think it's Nus Mazraoui. What have you made of him, and how do you see him in training the games as well?
In training, I don't see him a lot, but in games he's a top player because he understands the game. He knows how to attack. He's very technical. He's very good defensively. Very good one-on-one. It's a modern player. So I think he's the future of our team. When you think about him, you think like we need more players like Nus that can control the tempo. They are quite really good and comfortable with the ball, and they understand the game. So Nus, I'm really happy.
Seeing especially against Ipswich and Everton is that with the possession they've had and using it well, they seem a little bit more compact. Obviously, Ahmad is he's been fantastic. He's really benefited from Amorim coming in and seeing what he's capable of doing. Xerxes the same, look like different players, and we've seen what Man United are capable of because they've got players, quality players that with time and with space and with structure will hurt you.
Yeah,
definitely.
And these are the attacking players we knew Manchester United had, but weren't seeing that ruthless attacking play from.
I know, I always find it so interesting when the squad doesn't change, right? But the manager does, and how much can change just from that. But the way that he's put confidence into his players, even seeing Rashford at that set piece, just having the trust in a player that to be on the edge of the box and put it in the bottom corner. Okay, there was the deflection, but I'm happy to see him scoring goals. I think we've always known he's had the quality, but being out of form for a while now, so to see him get a couple of goals and make that big of an impact for United, I think, under a new manager was great.
I mean, you're always going to get a little bit under a new manager, particularly when it's as flat as it was under Ten Hag at the end of his time there. But there are changes that are being made under Amorim that feel longer term than just this new manager bounce.
Oh, 100%. I think, he's gone to this back three, focusing on the wing-backs. We get the best out of Ahmad in that way. They push so high, so you've almost got these extra wingers. And I think
Press is coordinated flow.
Yeah. Exactly, and also they're moving the ball faster. Even in the moments where they didn't score yesterday, because they had these transition moments, they were just moving the ball so much faster. There was so much about Ten Hag that was so slow and laborious watching that team, thinking, God, just move the ball faster. Whereas I think under Amorim, we're seeing that quick play in and around the box. The players feel more confident as well. The tempo is higher. And I think you just get so much more out of your team. And this is only the beginning for them. I think there's still adjustments they need to make sure defensively they're solid. Because I still think, when I look at this squad, I still think that's a top 6 squad, not a top 4 squad. But sometimes you can overachieve regardless when you're getting the max out of your players.
I think that, what's going to be interesting, Kels, is looking at Manchester United out of possession. I mentioned it has been Ipswich, it has been Everton. I'm not talking about the best teams, but they did dismantle them. But I'm looking to see what they're going to be like when they come up against Arsenal, because Arsenal will have a lot of possession. And that is something that, when you looked at Ten Hag, there was nothing. It was structureless, there's nothing there. So I know that will probably change, and that is what I'm interested to see from Amorim's team now.
It's the pressing that Flo mentioned, isn't it? Because was it Gary Neville who said Manchester United are a pressing team who don't know how to press?
Yes.
And suddenly they look coordinated. They're all working together, and that has to be the instructions of the new coach, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and that comes from training. That's practice. That's setting your players up in a right starting point in order to press. And I think that comes from when you have the ball, are you in a position that when we lose it, we can counter-press, get the ball back as quickly as possible? But it did. It looked so cohesive. Absolutely. It looked like they were all on completely the same page, positionally set up right. I think Ahmed was involved in all 4 goals, right? Whether he got the assist or not. And, to win the ball in such critical areas like he did, you're just set up for a press in the right way, and 100% that comes from management.
I know it was you, Flo, who was saying, this is the beginning, and there are going to be tougher challenges and there are going to be hurdles to overcome. The only thing was that Everton had so much of the game early on in that, and what we've seen from Manchester United is if Everton had scored there is the potential for them to crumble. We don't know yet whether that's something that will still be in them, even under the new manager,
yeah, and
new head coach.
They did have some setbacks in Europe that they had to battle through, conceding some goals. So I think we're seeing them test a little bit, and I think it's important because I do think, you know, there is that new manager bounce you mentioned, and I still do believe this squad isn't amazing. So I think probably fans and pundits and everyone needs to adjust to that and not put too much pressure on. But it's Manchester United, so of course there's going to be pressure straight away. But you look at that back line and it's not the best defence. I think Onana's done, you know, pretty well. He's a great shot stopper. But it's how they build that defensively, which is going to be the foundation, which allows them more freedom going forward. So I still worry about that. And I think, like Ian said, our game, because it's that first challenge for Amorim, saying, OK, how are you going to manage this game? Out possession, a lot of chances coming your way, because there were moments in that Everton game where if Beto had got a better angle, a better shot, they could have been in real trouble, but they navigated it and they won the game, and that's the most important
The thing is as well, Kels, when you listen to Amorim at the start, when he watched his team, and I think it was Ipswich, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he was saying, I can see that my players are thinking too much. And so, like Jen rightly said, it's the training ground. He's probably doing a lot of work on the training ground. And when it starts to come as second nature, if Garnacho goes and I've got to come across here, then he comes here, then we get tight. It just comes as second nature, and then you just do it with confidence. They're still going through that stage. And this is why, like I say, I'm really looking forward to seeing them out of possession.
And I wonder if, you know, as Flo says, if he doesn't have the most confidence in his defence, that's maybe part of the reason that they're so on the front foot, because he's like, well, we're just going to have to get forward, just keep the ball away from the defenders.
Yeah, I mean, and you said it yourself, Kat, they were struggling for goals at the start of the season, so I think they can take a lot of confidence, though. Now they're finding form in front of goal and actually being creative. And like you were saying as well, that, you know, it comes from the training field, simplifying the game. How do I put these players in the best position possible to go and create, to go and score goals, give them confidence? And full spot on. Look, defensively, are they tight-knit? Are they really, you know, a Premier League winning team? A lot of people might doubt that, but they're scoring goals. They're finding some form, and the Arsenal match.
Like you said, Flo, they're getting the ball to their quality players quicker.
Yeah.
Bruno, Ahmad, you know, if Eriksen's playing. You know, I thought Xerxes' link-up play was very good. And again, people say, yeah, it's on it, it's on it. It doesn't make no difference. His confidence is growing.
Ipswich are hard to play against.
Yeah, they are. But like Man United are a better side, and with structure, they showed it.
The Arsenal game then, coming up, like you said, it's going to be a real test for Manchester United and for Rúben Amorim. If they do go on the front foot against Arsenal like that, is that the right approach for them?
Well, Arsenal will be able to deal with that. But it'll be brilliant, because I think it'll be a fantastic game. Because just like Arsenal, if they come on the front foot against Arsenal, if Arsenal go on the front foot against them, which I think Arsenal should, then they can hurt us without a shadow of a doubt. And they know that we can probably cause them problems. So it's a Man United that are on their way back. So it's not the Man United, the Ten Hag Man United, where I would not be bothered about this game, if I'm going to be totally honest, and it's not disrespectful. It's just that I feel we would have beaten them. This is different because they know what they're doing now, they're getting more structured, and they're going to be playing a better team, that they will be punished for poor mistakes. So this is where we're going to really find out about them.
Yeah, nice early test.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I think, look, the high press is what's been working for them lately, and that's what's got them winning the ball in great areas and creating goals. So whether they do that against Arsenal, I'm not sure, but that's what's been working for him with the players he's got as well.
Yeah, it's starting to come together, we think. Early stages for Rúben Amorim. There might yet be a rude awakening for them against Arsenal midweek, though.
100%, and I think it's how you build those blocks of form, because there's going to be pressure, and I think probably most Manchester United fans have reset their expectations for this season and maybe thinking top four is probably something realistic to aim for, and that will still be a good achievement given where they've been at points across the last few years. So, yeah, I think it's just don't get ahead of yourself, which is never easy in football.
No, that is true. But I tell you what, these midweek round of fixtures, some really good matchups in this. So I'm really looking forward to it. We'll be able to reflect on that, plus, of course, everything that happens at the weekend when we're back at the same time next week. There's a really good update of everything that you're going to be able to keep across in midweek. We, of course, will be talking about that. Could be all change. 6 points in it by the time we're back on Monday. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
It will be a different challenge, but this is a different now. This is a confident Manchester United, and one that's a little bit more organised, one that understands the system that is being asked of them to play. So they'll pose Arsenal more questions than they would have 2-3 weeks ago when Erik ten Hag was in charge. I think they'd have sat back, they'd have been a counter-attacking team. What I like about them, even though the games that they've played haven't been difficult games, you've got to start somewhere. So how do you build confidence? You build it throughout them games. And the opposition might not be the best, but what we did see is they put Everton to bed very, very quickly, and the way that they went about the business was very sort of aggressive in the way that they did it. They wanted to score more goals. They weren't just content with being 2 up and sitting back and going, no, we've done our job. It was right, how do we get better in this system? How do we keep progressing? So I think the thing I'm looking forward to seeing is, how does he do this against the bigger teams? How does he implement that style? Or will he change it? Because does he have a different way of playing against the bigger teams? That's going to be the fascinating thing to see. Or is it just the plan A? I think he's got more in his armoury than that. I think there's been positive signs. I think what we can't get away from is how poor Everton were. But what you would have found in previous times with Manchester United, or the last couple of years, if they perhaps wouldn't have taken advantage of that, and they'd taken advantage of the way they did by being so convincing. So it is a sign that there is progress. We know it's very early. I think what we often talk about is how quickly will we see a change. I think we've seen an instant change. I really do. I think we've seen an uplift in personalities and in confidence of players, i.e. Rashford being the main one. If you look at Marcus Rashford's the deflected goal, he doesn't take that on a few weeks ago. He takes a touch. He perhaps second guesses himself. That is a confident player straight away. Take that on the full and hit it the way he did. But it's also the directness of the players, how quickly they're playing, the speed in which they're passing the ball. There's been a definite turnaround in confidence of the players, but you can see an identity to the team straight away.
Rúben Amorim expects special talent Lainery Euro to be in the Manchester United squad for the first time against Arsenal on Wednesday. The Red Devils are preparing to take on Mikel Arteta's Gunners in the Premier League at the Emirates Stadium, where 19-year-old Euro could make his long-awaited debut. Euro joined United in the summer from Lille in a £62 million deal, rising to £70 million, only to sustain a metatarsal injury in his second pre-season appearance. The French teenager underwent surgery in early August and returned to training on the 6th of November, with the defender set to be involved in the squad for the first time this midweek. Maybe Lainery Euro is going to be in the squad, Amorim said. I felt that he is in a good moment now, his fitness is better, so I think he's going to be in the squad. I think has a special talent. We have to be careful in this first moment because we didn't have too many trainings together, so he is training not alone but with a small group of players. He's really fast, has a modern defender, and that is good when you want to press high and you leave a lot of strikers, especially in this league, 1-against-1. I think he can manage that. He is very good with the ball, so I am very excited. We have to manage the load and the minutes in the beginning, but I am really excited to see Lainery Euro playing. As well as the positive update on Euro, Amorim confirmed that Bruno Fernandes will be available for the Emirates Stadium encounter. The United skipper was substituted in the second half of Sunday's 4-0 win against Everton and was seen on the bench with ice on his left ankle. The rest I have to see it because some players were tired and we have to assess tomorrow in training, Amorim said of the wider squad. Fernandes is fit to play, I see him already in this morning. He is fit to play, a guy that doesn't need a lot of rest, so he is prepared to play. Amorim previewed the Arsenal match at Old Trafford, unlike the standard procedure of hosting pre-match press conferences for domestic fixtures at United's Carrington training ground. We had a meeting with all the staff, trying to connect everybody, the sports part with this facility, Amorim explained. The people who are here are far from Carrington. You are trying to build a connection to be closer, Carrington and the stadium together. Amorim did a question and answer session as part of the visit in front of United employees, whose numbers have been cut by a quarter since Ineos became co-owners at the start of the year. Asked about the importance of togetherness at the club, the head coach said that is something that you cannot buy, the pedigree and the size of the club. This is something we have to use. It is a key point for us, also improving the youth teams, creating a connection between everybody to put this club in the place that it needs to be. That togetherness is being tested by the owners, with Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers the subject of anger as fans protested last week's controversial ticket plans on Sunday. United's fans made their fury known as well as their backing of Amorim, whose name was chanted to give it up by KC and the Sunshine Band at the loudest and most frequent level of his 3 games in charge. "I don't like my chant," the head coach said. "I don't like it. I feel a little bit, not embarrassed, but because I'm the coach they have to chant for the players and for the club. It's not a good thing for me. I understand and I really appreciate the connection with the supporters, but I want them to support the team and the players because they are on the pitch, I'm outside the pitch. But I am really honoured about that and I feel a connection with the supporters, but we know we need results to maintain that."